Today is Easter Sunday, which means we're at probably one of the biggest holidays in the Christian calendar. And sorry, Laurie, go ahead. Depending on which of the 70,000 different groups of Christian you are or were inspired by, this holiday means something different. Good Friday is about death. Easter Sunday is usually about life, but again, depending on who you are, life might mean something different. For some, it's the overcoming of death, the apocalyptic message that there's something bigger than death. For some, it has to do with this idea of power. Death seemed to win, and then power happened. To me, when I look at Easter, I don't tend to go into those theological rabbit holes. I tend to think of it more like a funeral. Yeah, Good Friday is death, and this is resurrection to something more. But you know how when you go to a funeral and they start talking about someone's life, it's usually not about their death. It's about the things that they valued, the things they believed in. When I look at Jesus' life, I don't want to just look at this one moment in his life. I'm like, okay, what was he about? Or at least what did the authors of the Gospels say he's about? And a few of them say, Jesus said, and this was a classic rabbinic thing. If you were a rabbi, a Jewish rabbi, which we see Jesus as being, you did this thing where you said, hey, my entire message is boiled down to one thing. This is common. When it came to Jesus, he said this: love God. Now I could spend about 6,000 years unpacking that sucker. What does God mean? What does love mean? Put that aside. But then he says, and love your neighbor as yourself. And again, the as yourself portion, love your neighbor. What if at Easter we look through that lens? And just like when I leave a funeral, I'm often inspired. I'm like, man, I got to live my life with more intention. Life is short. How that person lived inspired me. What if this is something that we use to inspire ourselves? That word love, in Greek, originally this line was probably in Greek, although it could have been Aramaic. It was written down in Greek. Greek has 4 words for love. They used agape in this one. Agape, if you translate it or define it, can you throw it up for me? The quality of warm regard for and interest in another. Bagged is just the name of a lexicon, dictionary. The quality of kind regard and interest in another. Love your neighbor not in the sense of like, I love you, but in the sense of, I see you and I'm interested in your life and your experience. I'm interested in you. This line has stuck with me. A couple months ago, I reached out to someone in our community, a couple. They're going to come up here in a few minutes. They're immigrants from South America. And I remember I just wanted to kind of, maybe agape. I wanted to get to know them a little bit, as I do. But what they said has wormed its way into my mind. The number of times I'm out in the world and I see someone speaking a different language in public, and I have this little sense of like, well, wonder why they're not speaking English. Or I see somebody reacting in a way that's like, well, that's not how we do it here. And I realize how much of that is me not having agape for my neighbor. I don't think it was conscious. But now I have their voice in my head. And I have these moments where the normal reaction come up and all of a sudden I hear their line and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's why. And so in an effort to love our neighbor, to have agape, have interest, I figured right now with everything going on in the world, if we could be inspired by Jesus' message of get to know, have curiosity for our immigrant neighbor. Now with everything going on in the world, now is probably a better time than ever to do it. And so as a way to honor the inspiration of Jesus saying, this is my life's message. Agape, your immigrant neighbor. I want us to explore, what does that look like? Now, before I do, I just want to tell you what this message is not. Can you put up the first line for me? This message isn't a moral issue. If you don't love our immigrant neighbor perfectly or exactly how they might want, you are not immoral. You are not bad. This isn't, you must all do this or you're a bad person or you're immoral. That's not what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is, what would it look like to love? But you have a choice there. What that looks like is as unique as you are, I think. Can you put the next one up for me? This isn't a political issue. I'm not doing this as a way to say, Friend Church, you need to vote this way, you need to whatever. That's on you all. You guys have to deal with how to do that. How do you take something as complex as politics and narrow it down to voting for a single person? Okay, next one. This isn't a Friends Church issue. We're not saying that if you're part of Friends Church, you need to hold a particular stance to this group. This is not your unique spiritual journey. We were driving, we flew into San Diego, we drove across the border, and then to get to Ensenada where we built the house, you have to drive along this road for about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. And right beside you is the wall between the States and Mexico. I was driving, Ted was up front with me, and we both had this kind of like visceral reaction to that. It felt like something. Now, this isn't to say you need to hold a certain stance on immigration. Immigration is way more complex than that. Anyone who takes an issue as big as that and says it's a black and white issue, I'm like, okay, time out. It's way more complex. But we both felt something about that wall. Next one for me. Everybody is welcome no matter where you stand on this issue. We value each person's unique spiritual journey. This is your journey. How you do this, how this shows up in your life, is as unique as you. That's what we believe. But we have one more, I'm going to call it a rule. Rule. Throw it up there. The only thing we ask here at Friend Church is you act lovingly towards everybody. You can disagree with the person sitting next to you. You can think that they're off base. You can think that whatever you want to think. All that we ask is you act lovingly. Fair? So with that said, let's have a big Friend Church welcome for Eddie and Andres. Thanks, you guys. How's it going, buddy? Okay, let's do this. I think we have it all under control. Welcome. Bring the mics up to your mouth, and perfect. Can you just introduce yourself, because I might have said your names not perfectly.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Andres.
What's your last name? I never heard.
Last name, Salas.
Salas.
My name is Eddie, and my last name is Aguilar.
Aguilar. Gotcha. Okay, so obviously you have a bit of an accent. What's your first language?
Spanish.
Spanish. And is there a difference between, because you're from South America, where in South America are you from?
Colombia.
Colombia. Is there a difference in the Spanish you speak in Colombia from the Spanish they speak in Mexico?
No, it's the same language. It's just slang, different words, but the essence, grammar, everything is the same.
So you can go there, you can understand,
Yes. It's
just use different slangs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
different expressions or like words
Okay.
for certain things.
Gotcha. Okay. So where did you grow up in Colombia? Give us a little bit of your background.
So we are from Cali.
Cali.
Cali is in the southwest of Colombia.
Okay.
It's a warm city, 30 degrees normally.
Okay.
Very cold when it's 20 degrees.
You guys are bundled up.
Yeah,
We're in
yeah.
shorts. You guys are like
we
toques.
stay home.
Really?
Yeah.
20 is too cold.
Yeah, go for an hour.
Sweet mother.
Stay cozy. Yeah.
Welcome to Canada. Is it on the ocean side?
Southwest, like 2 hours from
About 3 hours from the ocean.
the Pacific.
Okay. So hot, warm, big city, small town?
Big cities, like third big
Third in
city.
population.
Okay.
About 3 million, 2.5 million people.
Okay, so we're solid here. And your family's all from the same city, or did you?
No, my family is from the north,
Okay.
from the Caribbean coast.
Okay.
They immigrated or moved to the south, or this is south of Colombia.
Okay.
Their parents are from not that far from our city, Cali.
Yeah.
Where are they from?
Different regions.
From another like province.
Okay.
It's like if someone knows Colombia, it's like the coffee part of the country.
We know coffee. Okay. So obviously you're here. You have 2 boys. Were your boys born there or were they born here? Here.
Yeah, they are here.
Okay. So you guys you're married. You got together in Colombia.
Colombia.
Got married in Colombia.
Got married.
Yes.
Yeah, you cannot leave home without getting married.
What? There's like rules.
Yeah, that's like the Catholic way.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Your grandmother's giving you one of these if you. Okay. So you guys got married. Big wedding ceremony, or is it like Catholic sprinkle?
Small,
Okay.
like but with family and friends. So.
Gotcha. When did you guys start to think we maybe need to move someplace else?
That was my idea.
Your idea, okay.
And I
So,
think that's kind of the crisis of the 30s.
oh, really?
When I turned 30, I'm like, okay, what am I doing here? Job opportunities. I studied electronic engineer back home,
Okay,
and opportunities for an engineer were not enough.
okay,
Getting a job wasn't easy. Sometimes it's not like for everyone, but for me it wasn't easy.
okay,
And then I'm like, okay, I want to do something better. And if I have kids one day, I want them to have better opportunities.
okay.
It was not about violence or all the things people hear about Colombia or countries in South America. There are many things going on there, but it was not because of that. It's just
So
job
the violence was
opportunities.
just extra stuff.
Yes.
It was actually for jobs.
And
Yes.
it was more like a life plan for us. It's like, okay, we want better opportunities where we can move, and then Canada has like an immigration process that we can apply, and then we can show your like what you have done or your professions, and then
Right.
you can move. So,
Okay.
and then we wanted to be like permanent residents, right?
Right, so you had a plan. But
Yes.
back it up. Just so you know, our midlife crisis is in our 50s, so you're coming up for a new one here.
Okay.
It's just how we roll. 30s, we don't have them.
Yeah.
We start late.
Yeah.
We're late bloomers. So Andreas comes home one day. He's like, hey, I think we should immigrate someplace else. What was your thought?
So we were dating
Oh,
at that time.
okay.
We were not married, but he just said, look, there is this opportunity. He knew people that have done this process.
Okay.
Do you want to do it? So I said, okay. So it took like around 3 years.
Just
for
one
us.
second. You said, okay?
Yeah. Like, why not?
Why not move to another country with a language we don't speak that regularly goes to minus 30?
Yeah.
Why not?
I think we didn't know a lot of things back then.
Okay.
Right? Like minus 30, nothing like that.
It's just, that was theoretical. You're like, oh, it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
Now, when you first, so why did you pick Canada? I never asked you guys that.
So the very few options we had were either moving to Australia.
Okay.
They have like an immigration program you could apply with a degree.
Right.
It's easier. Canada was the other one, or the last resort, like moving to States just as a tourist. That was like no.
Good pick on Canada on that one.
And then we came across. I had a friend. He moved to two friends. They moved before us
Okay.
to Quebec, and they gave me ideas like you can do this, that. And Quebec had like a good process explained in their website.
Okay.
So we just followed that process, and it was easier to apply and get the PR.
Now, Okay, electrical engineering. What's your degree in?
Marketing and international business.
Marketing and international business. Okay, so you guys were all smarty pantses. Is that important for immigration? Like you need to have a certain level of education?
So with the process that we did, it was like you need to be professional.
Ah,
so
gotcha.
then I think also they take in consideration your age
Right.
and
A bunch of things.
experience. And
Now, what you guys probably don't know is you guys first immigrated to Montreal, right?
Correct.
So you went from Spanish to French. How long?
Oui.
Oui, oui. How is your French?
yeah.
No, back then was better. I mean, when we moved, so the process was we had to study French because you have to have certain level, and then you need to qualify to that. Back then we had to do a test. Then with that level, with that certification, we got the PR. We studied in the Alliance Française in our home.
Okay.
And then we moved to Quebec, but our level was just not that good
Okay.
in French.
But you guys went from Spanish to French.
Correct.
You hadn't learned English yet.
I knew English, but again, we learn English at school, but it's like basic.
Kind of like what I learned French.
Yes.
I can swear, and that's
Yeah.
about it. Okay. Where did the boys? When were the boys born?
We have been here 16 years,
Okay.
and they were born in 2017, so they are 9 years.
When did you come to Calgary? And first, how did you get to Calgary? When did you come?
So we moved to Montreal,
Okay.
and then I was doing like a job search program.
Okay.
I opened for the first time the LinkedIn account, getting contact to a friend that was living here.
Okay.
He told me, what are you doing? And then, long story short, I applied to a job. He referred me. So I applied to this job and got the job in Calgary. At some point, I studied French and English, and the little English I learned helped me get in this job,
Okay.
working for a, so to speak, engineering company.
Okay.
It's a valve automation company. And I moved here in 2012 first.
Was there ever a time in this process that you thought to yourself, what are we doing?
All the time.
Like,
Many times.
I just want to go home and like,
Many times. But
So I think when I mentioned you when we were talked before, is like I think for us, this is home, right?
okay.
But it's still like we don't feel from here or from there anymore,
Right.
right? So sometimes we miss, like I missed people, like family, because again, we came, the two of us.
Right.
Now we have kids, so they are our family. But yes, it's like the people and different cultural things that we miss.
So there's times where you were just like, we should just have stayed in Colombia and
I think I've never thought about like we should go back. No.
no, we never thought about it.
no.
Okay.
For retirement, for sure.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you want to retire back in Colombia?
Like
Possibly.
in a warmer place.
In a warmer
Again.
What's with the
50-50.
temperature? Okay, so now we got you centered here in Calgary. We got you here. The boys are born here? Okay. And their names are
Samuel and Sebastian.
Sebastian, twins, 9?
9.
Okay. The thing that was so mind-opening to me was when you started to talk about what Canadian culture feels like when you're not born into it. I remember I was actually walking down the aisle here the other day, and Andres, you were over here, and I told you guys, hug me in a way that makes sense for you guys culturally. And I came down the aisle, and then you just got up and hugged me, and I was like, whoa, 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 what, we just go right in for the hug here? And I remember thinking, what a Canadian way of thinking about this. So tell me how, when you first come, how does space work? Physical space, closeness to people. How did that feel when you first came here?
So and when I mentioned as well that I don't feel from here or from there, like I noticed that when I go back, I feel like people are too close to me now, right? But here is too far from me.
So even physically, how far you stand away? We stand too far away.
Yes, sometimes you have people talking to you, and now I feel like, well, you too close, right?
We call them close talkers. We don't like that.
But I think for us, it's like that's the way.
So you guys are constantly navigating space. So what feels like for you would be we stand a little closer. What feels like for the person you're talking to, you know, a little bit further. How much, when you first came here, how much conscious thought did you put into how much distance do I need to put between me and the person I'm talking to?
I think we always think about it.
Even now?
Not anymore, because again, we now can feel like if I see you uncomfortable, I can feel it and see it. So
you can do it more naturally.
Yeah.
But even still, you're doing like,
yeah, I think so.
are we the right distance apart? Because I can feel I'm leaning back. This feels okay? This feels more normal to me.
This rather than that, I think we like hugging. I'm not like a super hugger, but I like hugging. Handshake in my case with every person, even though you don't know them, you handshake.
Okay.
Here's a little bit different. Some people don't like handshaking, especially after COVID. It's like the people that maybe don't want to touch your hand, but we are handshakers, so I can handshake every single person without knowing them. Whereas here, people keeps always a distance.
Okay. Let me just, who in the crowd's a hugger? Anyone? Just put up your hands. Whoa, there's a lot of y'all. Who's not a hugger? Now we're talking. I remember sitting with them. We were sitting over at Marcus's ice cream place. We were sitting outside, and I said, well, when do you hug? And they're like, well, all the time. And I'm like, okay, but like, if I just saw you, would we hug? They're like, yeah. If I said goodbye to you, would we hug? Yeah. If I just saw you a couple hours ago, would we hug? Yeah. And I was like, holy crap, like, that's all the time. How does it feel? Like, do you find there's kind of times when you want to go in and you're like, oh, no. Again, you're reading that. You're constantly reading that, trying to figure out what does the other person want? How do I react to that?
So now we are more conscious, and again, we don't hug. And for example, for me, and again, Andres is different. Obviously, we are two different people, even if we are from the same country and everything. Right. I'm more expressive, and I need to touch, right? So, like even at work, I just tap you on the shoulder, just hi, right?
But you would normally want to hug them.
Not now. I don't know. It's
but
different again. Because
in
again,
Colombia, you would have.
Yeah.
Like
because
what?
Again, for example, in the workplace also, like we became friends with your coworkers, right? Here is like work, home, like, and I don't know if it's where I've been moving around, but like you are not friends with your coworkers. In Colombia, your coworkers are your friends.
So you invite them over socially and all that.
Yeah.
As you said, I tap my people. I was like, HR would not like that if you touched your employees. You said something that really hit me. Your original language is Spanish. You said, I'm a different person in English. Can you describe a little bit of what that feels like?
I think how it feels is like I mentioned that I feel a different person. And again, because I learn English and I normally interact in English in the workplace, right? I speak Spanish at home. I speak Spanish with my kids, with my husband, with my friends. So English is like the serious part of me, right? So I'm like another person in English.
You described it as, in Spanish, I'm like funny, I'm lighthearted. In English, I'm serious. Is that how it feels to you?
Yeah.
Do you crack jokes in English in the same way you would in Spanish?
Not really. Sometimes people don't even understand what I'm saying.
What does it feel like to be a different person here? How does that impact you?
I don't know.
I remember when you first told me, you kind of teared up and you were like, it's like I can't be myself here. Is that how it feels?
Yeah, sometimes, again, because it's not, again, we normally are judging also ourselves when we speak, and we say, oh, this person might think I'm dumb, or because, again, like I've been here 16 years, so I may have like a 16-year-old vocabulary, right? So again, like, it's like feeling less, or like, are they judging me because
They're looking down on you.
That's right.
Do you feel the same way?
Yes, and there's something funny. We went yesterday to ex-hunt with the kids. It was in a park.
Yeah.
With a playground by the place where we were, or the kids were getting the eggs. And I was screaming to my kids, "Hey, don't do this!" or "Come!" And Eddie was like, "Stop screaming!" I'm like, "I'm Colombian. I like screaming." So we're noisy. Noise. It doesn't mean that people here know like that, but yeah, I think it's different. So she made me aware of don't be noisy.
Right.
I'm like, okay, yes, but I am not fully from here.
Well, one of the things I was thinking a lot about, Holly, can you throw up our model of I, they, we? We have this whole model where it's like I and they, and we find this balance in we. The thing I've been thinking about, in fact, since we coming back from Mexico, how do you think of the balance? If you guys are I, we are Colombian, we yell, we hug, we talk close, we do all these things, but they, the people who are born in Canada, we're all Canadians, but the people who are born here, it's different from them. How do you find the balance between those? How do you find the we where you're like, it's not just we become someone different and like I don't yell and I don't hug and I don't, because you need to be present too. How do you think of that balance? You look like you're about to...
No, that's difficult because, again, so sometimes it's to put in the shoes of the other. Like, I cannot pretend someone to do things the way I do, just for me to feel comfortable. Is to have that balance of understanding how the culture works. And, for example, if like I said, I've been here 16 years, and like, I don't have Canadian friends, right? Like, normally my friends are from Colombia or even immigrants from other countries. But again, maybe because for me, friendship is different. It's like inviting you to your home or do things together, and maybe Canadians are different.
So for you, you skew a little bit towards them. What makes them feel comfortable? What makes them... What I'm hearing from you is, I'm Colombian, we yell. That's how I roll. Do you find that you guys are the same in how you balance this out? Us versus the culture around us? Do you ever find, he's doing something, you're like, shh, or she's doing something, you're like, hey, no, that's not how we do it here. How do you guys find that balance? And is it the same for the both of you?
That's a good question. I think, to me, it's been a transition from when we moved. It was I, them. And the more we learned about the culture, the differences, the more we became we. And now I feel is we, and we come here, and we feel we. And everywhere we go, we feel the we. I want to say something. We love Canada. We love the people here. People here is amazing. And we feel, Eddie said that we feel here home. Winter, summer, we like any season.
Okay.
It's just that sometimes I cannot deny that I'm from Colombia and I have certain things. Yesterday I screamed, it's me, it's like it's in my roots.
Yeah.
But then I just relax and become part of the society.
Have you ever had someone react badly where you were talking about, like, you're like, if I take the bus to work every day and I see the same people, I'm going to become friends with them. Like in Colombia, we'd chat and I'd invite them over for dinner, and like within a week or two, we'd be like friends. Whereas in Canada, there's a rule. You don't talk to anyone on the bus. It's just not how we roll. Do you ever find that you kind of do it one way that would feel more natural to you and people react poorly? Or can you just read them? Like you can tell, like, oh, they wouldn't. Has anyone ever reacted badly? Nothing?
No.
Thank goodness, because I was thinking some of us. Nothing for you either?
Sometimes people make fun of your accent, but it's okay.
How is that okay?
At some point, when I moved here at work, people made fun of me because we say chocolate, and they wanted me to say chocolate.
Okay.
And I'm like, and I knew they were trying to just make fun.
Okay.
And then one time made me feel not good. But then the more I did it, I started like making fun of myself, and that was fun. Sometimes I mixed up words and said something instead of something else. I worked in an environment where they have valves that are called like waffles, and I called it I called it differently, and my coworker was just making me repeat the same word. Say it again. I'm like, why? And then he was making just fun of me, but in this situation, it was a fun, and I enjoyed it. And then if I make mistakes, I'm okay with that. I'm no longer worried about if you don't understand me. I try to look for words that make sense, maybe mispronounce things. It's just that I'm okay. Maybe it's like a confidence you build, and then the more confident you feel, okay, I know now that I can speak. Maybe I cannot speak perfect. I cannot sound like you. I don't want to sound like you because I'm me.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that.
But there's a side, and you talked about it, you said, it's like people look at me like I'm dumb. I'm educated, I know my area well, but because of the language and how I speak in English, the question is, do they look down on me? You guys must have had to wrestle that through. Like you said, at first it was kind of painful, and I was like, this isn't going away. I can't suddenly be fluent in English like that tomorrow. I have to be confident in myself to be able to navigate this world. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have to do the same thing?
Yeah.
Like there's a time when you're like, okay, this is just who I am. Love me the way I am.
And again, communication is the listener and the person who talks. So again, this other person needs to be also open, and I feel also, but I also understand that English, if you say a T instead of an S or something, it's like a totally different word, right?
Okay.
But I sometimes think, can you just figure it out? Like, why you don't just put things together and guess?
Come on, like,
Because
don't be a stickler for
in
the.
Spanish is like that, but I feel like when people
Just
start
one
to
sec.
speak Spanish,
In Spanish, if you mix up things a little bit, it's still like it's nunca's, nunca's, nunca.
no, it's just like, for example, I feel that when people want to speak Spanish, like we enjoy seeing people wanted to speak Spanish.
Right.
And even if you say something totally off, we get the message.
Okay.
Right?
It's like you try and get the
Yes.
message as opposed to like, if you're not going to say it perfectly, I'm not going to know what that word is.
Yeah. So then, but maybe it's because it's totally a different word that really you cannot figure it out.
Right. As we look back through, right now we're in a time when immigrant is a really tricky word in politics, in culture. How does this current time we're living in, how has that impacted you guys?
I'm gonna talk about for myself,
Yeah, so
right?
one second,
Because
let me-
again, Andres is different.
And she also said to me, this is our experience, not all immigrants. So this is their experience, please.
No, but I always feel that Canada is like the best place to be as an immigrant. I watch a lot of news from the U.S. that I should not watch because it's very like painful.
Hard on the mental health.
But I have a sister that she lives in the U.S. for about 22 years now. But no, I just feel that it's like you said at the beginning, is just to get to know and ask questions, be curious about other people's ways to do things. But I understand as well that as an immigrant, you should integrate, you should not lose your roots, because, for example, for me, my kids, they speak Spanish at home, and sometimes they ask them, where are you from? And they look at me because they are not sure, and I said, you are from Canada, you are Canadian.
Right.
But because they speak Spanish, they may get confused. Why we speak Spanish if we are from Canada?
Why do you have them speak Spanish at home? Because this really impacted me.
Oh yeah, no. So mainly is because, for example, my parents, they don't speak English, so we want, I want them, if they go to Colombia, I don't want to sound like a gringo, like what you said. I want them to speak Spanish perfectly, and also I feel that when you speak another language, for you to be able to help someone in their language, that's like having another language on your pocket, to know is very powerful. Yes.
When you said all of my family mostly speaks Spanish, if my kids lose Spanish, they lose connection to their family, that really hit me hard. And now when I look at people who speak with an accent, I think to myself, their language is what connects them to their world. And to take that away to make them Canadian means that we have to disconnect them from family. That really hit me hard. Thank you for sharing that one, because that one, ever since you said that, I keep thinking, and yet I have in my head, well, why aren't you speaking English the way I speak English? But you're right, it's more powerful to speak. You go to banks now and they're like, here's all the languages we speak. I'm like, that's really powerful. Even as a way to take water, right? To speak to somebody in their own language. Yeah, you guys have really changed my thinking on that. Andres, anything you want to add to that?
To the kids?
Kids, but what is it, like the immigration conversation right now? Immigrant is often a very tricky word in the political dialogue. How does that impact you?
So I see things now, because it's interesting. Even though I am an immigrant, right now in the last few years, maybe the government, Canada, has allowed more than what they can get as immigrants. So they have opened the door for people to move here. And I see the health system maybe not providing the best service. People not getting access to certain basic services. So I'm like, what is the country bringing so many people when they cannot provide for the people that is living here? So that makes no sense to me. And it's I don't know if it's contradictory or not, but I feel that like they shouldn't bring more, just because they want to please someone, or but that's rather for the politics to figure it out.
Okay.
But we have to figure things out here. So, but I don't know. Like moving here has been a beautiful challenge to live. We have gone, as I said, it's been a transition from I, them to we. And it's been a way to demonstrate ourselves that we're capable of many things.
Nice.
Overcome situations.
Okay.
And I never look back at, I want to go back home or no, this is home, and I'm growing here. I want to become better here. I don't want to move back home.
Okay, I want to have one more question. Can you throw up the model again for me? Holly just stepped away from the computer. This is going to be hard for you guys, but I want you to try it. If so the part of Canada who is not immigrants, how do we love you all better? How do we, if you go like here's what I like, we hugs every time, we close talk, we do, like, you get to pick whatever you want. What's the thing that you would like Canadians who are born here versus Canadians who are immigrants? What would you like us to know to love you better?
I will say that I think everyone that is here and come here, like, are really doing their best to become like a better person, right? Yeah, like people come here because we see Canada as the country of opportunities, where, like,
right,
that can become better.
Right.
So I think, and again, I speak of myself,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't know what the other people think, or right. But again, everyone comes here for a better life. But obviously, like we don't want to let go of our culture or certain things, because that's part of us.
Yeah.
That make us, right? And it's like just being curious of, like, you will be very amazed if you talk to someone that is from another culture, how they celebrate things, or what kind of food they eat, or so it makes us better to ask questions. And
So for you, just be curious. Accept that there's a part that they bring from another country that's part of this, and it enriches us all. Is that?
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Andres?
Besides, be curious. Even though we look different and speak different, it makes we're the same, and we have many things to share. We have many things to share that we're not different. I don't feel that I'm different here, but sometimes I do.
I want to leave it. That's where I want to end the interview. We are not different. We might talk different, we might look different, although you guys don't look that different, but whatever. We are all humans first. That's beautiful. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Well done. Oh, boy. The thing that I've noticed the most is often when people from other places are working the hardest to look like us, we see them the least. That's my takeaway. If the Jesus story is about that message, agape, to get to know and be curious about the people around you, my encouragement this week is to notice. Even as she was talking, Eddie said, you guys are so careful about your words. If I make one little mistake, you point out. In my head, I can realize while she's talking, I'm like, oh yeah, that's not said right. Oh, crap, I'm doing it right now. Be mindful as a way to love. Now, I want to transition into the classic French church Easter service. A friend of mine, I don't know how much I can share. There was an accident at work and it went horrible. Horrible. Someone died. And he's sitting there with this thing in his head that says, what could I have done? How could I have done more to protect the people that I care about? It's stuck in his head. When he's trying to go to sleep, it's spinning over and over again. We as humans have these things in us. We make mistakes. We don't live up to who we want to be. We fail. We have weaknesses. Whatever your thing is, that is part of the human condition. We have times where we screw up and we don't live to who we want to be. How do we let go of those moments? How do we get free of the mistakes that we make, the guilt, the shame? Every religion, every major religion has a process to help us get freedom from the things that we did not do well this year. Our tradition has one. Classically, it's done through this time because as Easter is tied to a more ancient story of Passover. But even more than that, it's part of the larger tradition that says when you have something that you can't get freedom from, where you need to let it go, you need to get free from it, you need a way to do it. Our brains seem to need a way to do it. You can't just say, okay, let go of that. It doesn't work that way. We need a ritual. Our ritual is this. Normally, they use a scapegoat, which is you take the mistake you made, the thing that you did wrong, the screw up, the failure, and you symbolically put it on something. In the Jewish tradition, it was an animal. They put it on an animal. Then they kicked the animal out into the desert and let it die. The symbol is, that is not mine anymore. That goes away. And I am free. Today, I want to invite you to that freedom. The SPCA doesn't let us tie things to animals and set it out into the wilderness and kill them. Sucks to be them, but whatever. We have our own way of doing it. You saw there's pieces of paper and pencils on your chair. I encourage you. Just hide it, don't let the person next to you see it. Write whatever. You don't need to write it all out fully. Take the thing that this year is still stuck in your mind. The thing you can't let go of, the thing you can't be free of. Just write. Sometimes I just write a letter because I know what it is. I don't need to write it all down. It's not like I have to write it and that's what works. It's the process of saying, I choose to let this go. For me, I'm realizing how I talk to people who aren't native English speakers. It's not my best moment. As I think back through, I realize I have some things in my marriage that I need to let go of. Mistakes I made. I look through my life and think, oh, you know what? In my darkest times, that's the voice, that's the part that talks to me. Just take that piece of paper, write down whatever it is. It can be a symbol. It's not the language. It's the ritual. Write down what you need to be free of this year. And then crumple that piece of paper up so no one can see it. And we're going to go outside. There's a barrel outside. We're going to throw them all in there. We're not going to read them, not going to look at them. We're going to throw them all in there. I'm going to douse it with lighter fluid, and we're going to light it on fire. And we will be free.